Hello, hello, hello. It's your new day with Donna Reiners and Dr. Cami Owen, where we solve all the world's problems, or maybe just one. And maybe it's yours. In our 30 minutes, we talk about your emotions and mind and how they tie into your body and spirit. We want you to renew and restore yourself in a world that wants you crazy. And sometimes we even talk about money. Introducing your hosts, Donna Reiners and Dr. Cami Owen. Hi, hello. This is Donna Reiners and
Dr. Cami Owen.
And I got something in my heart I want to share, and we're just going to dialogue like we do. I was thinking about government, politics, religion, positions, hierarchy, things of that. And how we were talking off camera about how there's a respect for a position versus necessarily respect for a person. And Cammie's husband was sharing about something he had seen where someone had been treated really just top dog, 5-star, with all the ceramic cups and all the fancy gear, and then he shows up a few years later at the same kind of situation, and he's got the styrofoam cup and has to see himself get his own ticket and all those things. And what came to my mind was a situation with me happened probably 15 years ago. I was involved in regular meetings in an organization, community organization, and we were doing a lot of conferences. And I mostly did book table and things of that nature. And that was just my specialty because I love to support people in their callings and things of that nature. But I've been there for a long, long time. And I was feeling really, really lightheaded. And I knew that I had got to get some food. I mean, I was really not well. And I felt like I could possibly pass out, which is just not the norm. Wasn't the norm then, isn't the norm now. And I remember going to the kitchen. Mind you, this is the kind of place where I could go in on my own. Sometimes I work there, and I remember asking the person that would be kind of the admin in charge, and them saying, I asked if I could just have a piece of bread or something, just something, because I felt so shaky, and said, no, we have to wait until this position of people eat. And I remember on the inside of me, that was part of my journey early on, was seeing that there's a difference between religion and relationship. And I remember thinking to myself, my pastor, who is one of these people that you're talking about, would gladly hand me his plate and say, oh my goodness, Donna, let me help you. He would have been the first one to share, because he was not full of himself. Now, this person is not full of himself either. I'm just saying that I see in these circles of religion and politics and government, medical, whatever, I see that we honor this position so much so that we forget the people that are involved. And so since we're in this network of grace, I just want to hone in on religion versus relationship. We talked about fear in one of the last shows, how people have a fear of God. And a fear meaning they're afraid of God. And they have such an honor of that position of God that they can't seem to find relationship with this God that they're so afraid of. Mm. And see, man made that position. God never put himself in the place where he just wants people to be frightened of him. God, that's like a deity, but the person, God, the one who I believe created us, the Father of humanity, he already lives within us. So that relationship within us is something he's already made a decision about. But somehow, some way, we put this deference on that position that we don't feel like we can relate. And that's why when I was a little girl, I said no to the supernatural giftings. because I felt like there was some kind of price I had to pay to function in those things with this creator who lived inside of me that I recognized was pulling on me to be in relationship, because I knew inside me that the person inside of me, the creator inside of me, was the one saying, hey, come with me. Let me show you how to use these giftings. Let me show you what it's like to think like me. Let me show you what it's like to love like me. But I said no. I shut those things down from an early age because I misunderstood and thought there was a price for me to pay to be able to honor the person who lived inside me. That was such an immature space. Part of it was also because of the way my parents were. My mother did not go to church. I think that she didn't like the religious part. I mean, she came to know God in the back of an Edgar Cayce book where they talked about Jesus and the blood and creation and et cetera, which people threw him under a bus and said he was a false prophet and shut that whole thing down. Well, actually, he just operated in giftings that were so unique that humanity didn't understand it and the church couldn't control it. And so religious shut it all down and said, no way, Jose, we're not having this. Mm-hmm. We're not putting a stamp of approval on this because we're not in charge of it. And see, that's the difference between religion. Religion wants to control. And so someone, I think we may have talked about this here, but I have some friends that see different people like shamans and things of that nature for advice, and they go on things called journeys, and which in the church world, those are just prayer walks. They go on journeys. We go on retreats. They see their shaman. We go talk to the preacher. So it's really still a system of this belief system that I need to go to you so you can tell me who I am. Mm. I need to go to you, whether you're a shaman, whether you're a preacher, or whether you're the president, or whether you're the doctor, or you're the holistic practitioner, whatever. Let me go to you so you can tell me what I need to do, who I am, what I'm made out of. And there is a place for wisdom. I mean, I'm studying in school right now to move forward in some things I wanted to do 30 years ago. So one day I'll have that little stamp on me that says, hey, I can approve other people. But at the end of the day, there's a place inside what's called identity. And back to early on when I was talking about the person who said no to me having a piece of bread, I recognized that they were honoring the position. They wanted to make sure there was enough food. Well, I guarantee one little piece of bread wasn't going to break them, But I when that happened, my insides were opened up. It's like God was opening me up to say, hey, come with me. And I remember in that same situation, there were some things I'd been downloaded, and I was, I came to know, I'd say I committed my life to this life with God when I was older versus when I was younger, right? And so when I did, everything just kind of flew open. And so I wouldn't say I was scary, but I was creative, and I wasn't, even though I was submitted to authority, like, because out of honor, mm-hmm. not out of my God, but out of honor, I was probably considered more of a wildfire because of it. And so the doors really shut for me to be someone who could maybe teach, mm-hmm. or operate in the giftings, operate in
uncontrollable
any office or anything in those situations. And so I remember a friend of ours saying, well, have you considered going to another place and teaching a Bible study or something? I'm like, somewhere else? It's almost like, you mean leave home? Mm. 30 years ago, leave home? I'm like, well, that's an idea. And so, at the time I was, needed 10 angel visitations to confirm me hearing anything, and didn't have the confidence inside of me to move out in what was inside of me. And so God provided those things, whether it was my intention, whether it was God with angelic, it doesn't really matter to me. I don't really care. But there was confirmation very quickly. And what was interesting, I still had to follow up. I still had to follow through. I had to even almost push the door down because I sent several books to them that I'd written and said, this is kind of what I'd like to talk about. I wrote a curriculum called Talking About to God. And the pastor's like, well, yeah, pass it on to the, so it went to this other church, this other situation. So I'm just sharing this because we're all on this journey to figure out who we are and what we're doing and why we're here. And the minute you figure out why you're here, there's going to be something else that comes. We're going to figure out another reason why you're here because assignments come and go. But there's a core inside of us where we learn really what we're made out of. And the why we're here stays with us no matter what we do. And so I did end up doing that. And then I ended up doing another study. They asked me to do another one. And then I kind of got tarred and feathered because of my belief system was pretty strongly centered on believing things. And but that was a religious situation where they said, well, we don't believe that here. I'm like, but the Bible says this. But we don't believe it here. But isn't this what it says? And so anyway, and what was so kind is the man who I know that would have given me his plate. He's like, you want me to call him? I'll talk to him for you. He had my back. See why? 2 years after our pastor came, he said to me, he asked to meet with us. And we went and talked with him, and he talked to me, and he said, I just want you to know, I don't know what you do, but I give you permission to go do it. I just want you to go do it. He said, I don't even know what you do, but I want you to go do it. It took me 2 more years to just have the confidence to go do, even though I then had permission from the authority that I had great respect for to go do it, So I'm just, I don't know why I'm telling you all this, but I think somebody needs to hear that you're on a journey and you're on a journey of learning your own confidence and that there is no fail. And every step you take, even though it might fail, is still a step of success. Because it's all part of the journey. It's all a part about you learning who you are and why you're here. And it's over the river and through the woods to learn who you are on the inside and that it's okay. I mean, we talked about this before where I bit off so much going to the school. My Lord. My goodness, you printed out it's this thick. I'm like, what was I thinking? And I've been very overwhelmed, so overwhelmed that I was in pain a few days ago. So much pain that I thought it had some kind of infection or something. It's like we were going to drive to our dentist. It's 4 hours of drive to go to have them check it out. It was so painful and nothing would stop it. And my sister suggested I was grinding my teeth. I'm like, I don't really grind my teeth. And then sure enough, I woke up to me grinding my teeth. I'm like, oh, that's what it is. And I realized I really am stressed. Mm-hmm. I want to tell you that what I do for work doesn't stress me. I enjoy it. It's not stressful. It's calling people, talking with people. It's saving people money, and it's helping people with their health. It's health plus wealth, and those things just make me happy. I love to save people money because that's income they can use in other endeavors. So that's a given. And then I love to help people with their health. But I took on studying something that's beyond my pay grade right now. And I didn't know where to start or what to do because I don't understand the language. And it's almost like when I first read the Bible years and years and years ago, literally I read it and I didn't understand it, literally. I didn't understand why I couldn't understand it. It made no sense that I couldn't understand. It's like it was like cardboard to me. Mm-hmm. For 2 solid years it was cardboard, and then one day those things opened up through a supernatural experience. But I'm in a season where I added that on. And I also have a coach for something that we pay for. So we have all these things going on, and I'm like, well, God, what do I do? And so we're watching heart rate variability. Mm-hmm. All those videos going through there. And he kept talking about biofeedback. I mean, every other thing he's saying, back to our biofeedback. And I'm thinking, maybe I should just do the biofeedback first. And so I did a little muscle test on myself. And I said, I think I came up with a plan. The minute I did that, I had peace. I'm like, oh, why? Because one of the courses, somebody's going to have to hear this and go, you're wondering, why are you telling me all this? But somebody's going to matter to somebody. So in one of the courses, when I printed out, literally is this thick. One course. It's the most important course. It's the course that goes to all the courses. So I know it's important. But for whatever reason, it's going to help me to go in the back door. So I'm going to say this other, which is this much. It's this much. I'm so excited to see me accomplish this much, because once I accomplish it, I know I'm going to feel like, oh, I'm in the door. But I haven't been able to get the door because I've been studying this other one. And so anyway, none of this might make sense to you, but I'm whatever you're trying to do in your life, it's not for nothing. You know, I told Craig, I said, you know, what am I thinking going back to school at 61? Have I lost my mind? And then one day he was in the door pulling Ray out or something, and he said, yeah, Donna's studying to be a doctor. And I'm like, what? What are you crazy? And I thought, well, wait, that's his perspective. What's his perspective? That I'm going someplace. So listen to me. Whatever you're doing, you're going someplace. You may not think you're going someplace. You may not realize you're going someplace. You may not be going back to school. You may not be trying to get certified in anything. It's not about that. But you're on a journey, a life journey to get to know you. And if I never do anything with what is coming across me, which he would prefer I did, because let's have some ROI, I know. But if I never do, I know the journey of getting to know me, the journey of me facing these things and looking at these words. I can't even think of the words now because they're so complicated. Looking at some of these words and learning them, that I'm capable. You see? And I'm going to share one more thing with you that's going to seem like it doesn't make any sense. But we went to Houston Museum of Natural Science a few weeks ago. And in the energy area at the 4th floor, I want to go do it again just so I can take notes, and because it was really interesting. But we watched a video in the planetarium or something like that. And they talked about how there's a place inside of our bodies where we have no gravity, that it's not ruled by gravity. And that just hit me. I thought, oh my goodness, what's it ruled by? It's ruled by our intention, by our thoughts, by it's not ruled by this earth, by this world system. There's a place inside of you that's not ruled by this world system. Think about it for a minute. Think about it. There's something inside of you that's so small, that's so tiny, but yet so expansive that it's not ruled by this world system. Just think beyond this world and the gravity and the skies and beyond. Are we not somehow connected beyond what we can see? All of us.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Yes, we are.
Tammy,
yes, we are.
I hope that made sense. I don't know if it made sense, but it just felt strong.
I find it interesting that they actually said that out loud at the Museum of Science and Natural History.
Oh, no, they did. Houston Museum of Natural Science, yes.
Yeah, I find it amazing that level of disclosure is starting to happen.
Yes.
And that's how I see it. Like, what? They said it out loud?
Yeah.
Because that's been a secret, that we are just this physical body, and that's it. And even in spiritual things, as soon as you start getting out of that religious part of where the control and we dictate the narrative and we dictate what's being said and what you believe in and everything, you know, that I have so many people I know that are afraid to have any kind of conversation outside of that, like fearful, like I have a device at my clinic that's amazing, and it helps at a physical level, but it also helps at all our consciousness levels, that we have many consciousness levels. And being so afraid to entertain and embark in that technology because they were sure that, you know, it was going to suck the God right out of them, or a demon was going to show up, or, you know, all these things. And it was just so first perplexing to me that somebody lives in that world, because I just don't know that world at all. Because where you were looking around in your life for somebody to affirm you or give you permission. I was the one that's like, I don't need permission for that. But you do. No, I don't. I was the exact opposite of that. That I was, this little nemesis to my parents of, I don't, that rule doesn't apply to me. Those rules, I
love it.
I don't subscribe to that rule. And sometimes I can get you in trouble trying to exist inside of this society and everything. But, I was the opposite of that. But, having people that are so afraid, and then these religious entities, because they're really like an entity, they really are, that would have somebody so afraid to even know themselves at that kind of level, because that's really all. It's called the Rasha, and that's all the Rasha does is let you get really in tune with you and your intentions.
It's sound therapy in a way, right?
It's
sound therapy.
Frequency and sound therapy. And because if you understand all the parts of us, we are mostly frequency. When it comes right down to it, we are frequency. So, being able to get in touch with hearing yourself at that level. And
do you have a simple way of explaining what frequency is? I know we are vitality. I know that we're energy.
Yes.
But there's different levels of energy within us, right?
There are. Think of it. The easiest way I've thought about it is there's different radio stations playing at the same time.
Good.
And so, and time, and specifically time. I know we've talked a little bit about this before, but most people experience time because we're in this 15-dimensional time matrix.
Yes, we are.
We've talked about that before.
As a matter of fact.
And
15.
There's 15 of them.
There might even be 100, but right now we're at 15.
I would argue that in this one there's 15. But anyway, that the time is like this, and this, and this, and this.
Linear.
Because our consciousness needs some space to put it for us to relate to each other. Because otherwise it's just this sound. It's just a sound, and putting a point to it. So in quantum physics, it's described as everything is this wave of possibility until it's observed by consciousness, us, and then it solidifies into matter, into a particle. So when we have all these potentialities of frequency, of sound, how we observe it is how it's going to show up for us. So if you're only listening for country music, you will only hear country music. And if you're only listening for smooth jazz, you'll hear only smooth jazz, and so on with the metaphor. But the reality is, you can change the station at any time. You can change the station because actually time is an illusion, but how we are, what the potentiality is this, not this. So things that are what would be in this, a past or future, here, it's just a matter of, am I tuned into this station, or this station? What am I observing? What am I paying attention to? That's what actually shows up for you.
And so, I don't know how much time we have, but it may not make sense, but it makes sense to me. So I started out sharing about how I've been in a situation where someone didn't even want to give me a piece of bread, because they so wanted to honor the system, honor the people, make sure there's enough food for the man. Even though one of those, the man, operated at the frequency of unconditional love that would have given me his whole plate. One was honoring the system. The other, I know, would honor me as a daughter, as a friend, as a person, as a relationship. And so in all of this, and we're probably going to go into the next show with this, but in all of this, frequency is not separate from relationship.
Right.
Religion is separate from relationship.
But religion is a frequency. It's just a different frequency. I would put it more like heavy metal.
Control, manipulation.
Yes.
It's
its own frequency, and when you're in
but
that,
it operates
system,
with politics, government, religion. They're all
yes, they oscillate at a certain
because
frequency.
they all want to control and manipulate and keep things. They want to be in charge.
And you can listen to that, and you can be, all in. Like, that's all you listen to. That's fine. Yeah, that's a choice. You are a sovereign being. You get to choose what you listen to, and what you actually observe. But we're so much more than that. And those powers that be, they know that. They know that. That's why they want us to be dumbed down. That's why they want to put a device that programs us into, we are less than, we must be told, we must be,
that's why little kids
compliant.
get a little computer now when they're tiny, as opposed to learning cursive.
Yes.
They're taking cursive out of the schools.
Yes.
What's going to happen? Kids are not going to, that's actually a critical thinking skill. They need to be able to learn how to write. Anyway, we've gone on to another tangent. Why? Because we're so good at it. That's why you watch our show. Because doggone it, we're going to entertain the crap out of you.
That's right.
Anyway, we're glad you came with us. We do love to solve all the world's problems. And we probably solved pretty few. Anyway, we solved quite a few this time.
Yes.
Let's see. We did hurricanes. Okay, our next show, we're going to be all about encouraging you, because that's what we do too.
That's right.
And we bless you. Until then, bye.
Bye.
Thank you for joining Your New Day with Donna Reiners and Dr. Cammie Owen. We look forward to seeing you next time. Remember, we solve all the world's problems, or maybe just one, and maybe it's yours. Until soon.
Hello, hello, hello. I'm Donna Reiners, and this is
Dr. Cammie Owen.
Woo! And we have a show called Your New Day on the Grace Awakening Network, where we solve all the world's problems, or maybe just one, and maybe it'll be yours. And sometimes it's ours, to be quite frank. We invite you. It is on Roku at 10:30 a.m. on Wednesdays. We look forward to seeing you there. Bye-bye.